7 Eyewitness News starts right now.
New at 11, as flames engulfed a Seattle condo building, a fire station less than a block away was empty.
I ran over to the fire station and they were on another call. They were all gone.
Tonight, the flames are out, but firefighters are keeping an eye on hot spots and residents are counting their blessings. It took 80 Seattle firefighters to keep that big fire from spreading to other buildings in intense heat.
People who live in 30 units, though, are out of their homes tonight. KIRO 7's Gary Horker is there live now. And Gary, we hear that fire keeps reigniting.
That's what we're hearing, too. In fact, firefighters keep going in and putting out hot spots and flames while they look for the point of origin in this fire that actually began some 6 hours ago. These, we're told, were some of the most intense fire conditions Seattle firefighters have seen so far this year. Within minutes of people smelling smoke inside their condos, massive flames blew out of the roof of the Queen Anne complex. Towering flames and smoke could be seen for miles in every direction. Now, when people who live around here saw the smoke, they traced it to one condo unit on the top floor, and while the fire spread, they tried to get people out.
I actually went on the third floor and knocked on those two units, and there was no answers.
I knocked on the doors to see if anybody was in there.
Kelly Johnson says people got out just before the fire roared through the entire top floor.
People started coming out because they could start smelling the smoke. And then the alarms went off.
The smoke was overwhelming for people nearby, but watch as firefighters climb onto the balcony even as flames rip right through the roof. They were trying desperately to save every pet still inside.
I just got handed the bird.
A woman who lost her whole condo to fire found out her bird was saved. Firefighters say they don't yet know what started this inferno, but evacuated residents, when they were handed their beloved pets, say they will be eternally grateful.
Definitely was anxious to get him out of there.
Back live here, what fire didn't destroy was damaged a lot by smoke, and what we're told is 250,000 gallons of water used to fight that fire. Coming up in about 15 minutes in this newscast, we're going to show you one of the more dramatic, emotional examples of what people lost in that blaze. Reporting live from the fire scene tonight in Queen Anne, I'm Gary Horker, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Gary. Well, that building is a little more than 200 feet from Seattle's number 8 fire station. Neighbors ran there for help.
But they were surprised when they got there, and KIRO 7's David Ham explains why.
When Helen Gray started to see the flames shooting from this condo building from her lawn, she didn't immediately call 911. She went to fire station number 8.
Smelled like a burning rubber, like electrical fire. So I ran over to the fire station and they were on another call. They were all gone. So I called 911.
Seattle Fire says the firefighters weren't there because they were called out to another 2-alarm fire in Columbia City.
Of all the things, but they were out on another call.
The amount of firefighters that was necessary to do that obviously took firefighters from other areas of the city to handle that fire.
70 firefighters were called to the strip mall on Rainier Avenue South.
When this fire came in, they were only 7 minutes away.
A fire engine from Belltown arrived at the condo building within 5 minutes, and there were 4 engines here within 8 minutes. Lieutenant Sue Stengel says despite the firefighters not being at their own station, the overall response was excellent.
They did the job. I mean, we were strapped, we were stressed.
Because it's not every day that there are two-alarm fires roaring in Seattle within hours of each other.
It is fortunate for most of the time that they have a fire station across the street, but unfortunately, this fire station protects more than this block.
Wow, and Seattle Fire tells David Ham the day was considered a success because no one was hurt at either of those massive fires.
Developing tonight, 2 boys face charges for allegedly setting back-to-back fires in Thurston County. This brush fire near River Ridge High School in Lacey raced through more than an acre of woods this afternoon before crews could knock down those flames. Investigators say the 2 also set another nearby fire a few minutes later. And breaking news now here at 11, a shooting at the Renton Transit Center at 2nd and Logan. 2 people were hurt, 1 victim taken to Harborview Medical Center here in Seattle. No word yet on their condition. Police tell us avoid the area if you can. The investigation continues. We will bring you updates just as soon as we get them.
New at 11 tonight, police are sorting through clues from the scene where witnesses say an innocent man was shot and killed today. It happened in Seattle's Central District this afternoon near 24th and Spring. Officers rushed to the scene after getting several 911 calls that gunfire erupted in that neighborhood, and they found the victim dead near the street. Reverend Reggie Witherspoon says he spoke with several young men in the neighborhood who told him this.
They said this young man who doesn't bother anyone, stays to himself, was mistakenly shot and killed. That's all they know.
Now, Seattle police are not confirming whether this was a case of mistaken identity, but they say they believe this was not a random shooting. If you know anything that can help detectives, call Seattle police.
Firefighters in Tacoma had their hands full, especially along I-5. These photos sent to us by a Cairo 7 viewer of a car engulfed in flames near the Tacoma Dome. The driver managed to get out of the car before it exploded. No word on what sparked that fire. Earlier in the day, another fireball off Interstate 5. This time it was a semi that was burning in the southbound lanes of the interstate at 38th in Tacoma. The fire broke out in the cab, but the driver made it out in time.
I gotta say, the adrenaline was up. I was shaking.
New at 11, a hero in uniform explains what went through his mind as a UPS truck barreled down to Bellingham Street.
The first thought, I thought somebody had stolen a UPS truck until I saw the uniform.
And that Whatcom County deputy thought he was going to pull over a drunk driver. Instead, he realized the UPS driver was actually having a medical emergency. The driver was slumped over at the wheel and the truck was out of control. The deputy made a split-second decision. He rammed his patrol car into the truck to stop it.
We got to try and stay cool all the time, but you know, we're just like the next person. We get excited. We make mistakes, and I must say, I was shaken up.
Now, the truck driver made it to the hospital, and Deputy Bertrand went to the hospital to visit the driver. He also met the man's wife, who thanked him for saving her husband's life. Witnesses say a man blew through a stop sign on 5th Avenue South in Seattle this morning and then hit another vehicle so hard his vehicle flipped over and crashed into a building. Both drivers were taken to the hospital. Witnesses say the man was driving way too fast for the area and crashed so hard that he ended up in the back seat of his car.
It was pretty crazy, man. Yeah, it was nuts. I was just coming here to drop off some parts for work, and just about to leave, and you hear that and you see it, and man, it's too early.
The driver was able to crawl out on his own, and we have reached out to police to see what charges, if any, he could be facing once he's released from the hospital.
Imagine this. It's 90 degrees outside, and you're among the few people in Western Washington who scored an air conditioning unit. Now imagine your homeowners association tells you it's not allowed. That's what some residents in Auburn's Lakeland community are facing, while also facing a heat advisory. The HOA is threatening people with $30 fines every day if they install window air conditioning units. The reason? It's against the community's rules and regulations.
We just need to stay cool to get through this. So I was just disgusted that they don't care about the well-being of people.
So Cairo 7's Nick McGurk went to HOA headquarters to ask them about the letter. They told us they're following HOA board's rules, which all residents know.
The board's just following that. We're not, what they're saying to you is not accurate. We're not denying air conditioners.
What's not accurate about threatening a $30 fine for a window unit?
Okay, see, you're trying to twist things.
That representative wouldn't explain and directed us to call a number where no one answered. In the meantime, the couple we talked with said that they're put with the unit on the shelf. They've put it on the shelf to keep it from sticking out of the window. Now, many of you have been commenting on our Facebook page that you're seeing the same thing. Some people even getting hit with fines of $50 a day. So weigh in and share your tips for keeping your AC on our Facebook page.
Well, starting next week, part of Snohomish County will follow Kitsap County and become the second in the state to allow people to text 911. The service is meant for people in situations where talking on the phone would put the caller in danger. It's also helpful for people who have problems with their hearing or speech. The new service starts on Wednesday for AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon customers. Also in Snohomish County, police say a social media prank is tying up emergency services. They say the prank tells people to ask Siri to call 112, which is the equivalent to 911 in Europe. Siri, in turn, dials 911 and connects the person to an emergency call taker. And this has tied up operators, making it harder for others to report emergencies.
A young woman from Clallam County is the first person to die of measles in this country in 12 years. Health officials tell Cairo 7's Graham Johnson her death was preventable, and they want more people to get vaccinated.
The young woman from Clallam County died at University of Washington Medical Center in April.
No one ever even suspected she had measles.
Then an autopsy lab test back this week revealed she died of pneumonia due to measles. Health officials say her medical condition and her medications compromised her immune system. That also meant the measles vaccination she had earlier in life was not effective. So when a measles outbreak hit Clallam County this spring, making 5 people sick, one of them passed on the illness to the young woman when they were both at a local medical facility. Interim Clallam County Health Officer Dr. Jeanette Stair-Green says this preventable death shows the need for more immunizations to protect the most vulnerable, including those who can't be vaccinated.
It's just unforgivable in my mind, and so we need to take steps to get vaccination levels high in our community.
According to the Department of Health, in Clallam County this last school year, 76.1% of kindergartners had all their immunizations, compared to 82.7% statewide.
Is it fair to say that this young woman died because someone decided not to get vaccinated?
You know, I can't actually say that. I know within our measles outbreak, we did have cases that had not been immunized, and it was a conscious decision.
Graham Johnson, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News.
After the outbreak here, health officials provided free measles vaccinations to more than 800 people. Officials say the strain of measles in Clallam County originated in the Philippines. They don't know how it got here. It was not connected to the Disneyland outbreak that sickened people all around the country.
Crews are keeping their eyes on hot spots at the Queen Anne condo building. Residents are picking up the pieces. Why that may mean getting a new wedding dress for one bride, even though hers may have made it out in one piece.
Planning on getting to Gasworks for the Seafair Summer 4th? Why these guys could be allowed to take up precious parking. And we found out what other concerns they cause for families.
A popular park did away with lifeguards because of the budget, but we'll show you how thieves ruined their backup plan.
It was the hottest day so far this year, and more record-breaking heat is on the way. I'm pinpointing the hottest days into the holiday weekend and also touching on some relief in the temperature department.